The night had not yet settled when the first tremble of wind moved through the treetops, sifting through the forest in a careful sweep as though checking every branch for secrets. The last light of day was draining away, painting the sky with faint traces of dusty lavender and bruised gold. High above, resting on a branch that curved like an old question, an owl remained completely still. Its feathers blended with the dusk, giving it the impression of something carved out of the night rather than a creature living within it. Silence wrapped around the owl like an ancient cloak. The forest was transitioning into darkness, but it did so restlessly. Leaves whispered with warnings. Twigs shifted beneath small scurrying paws. Distant wings flitted in hurried, uneven flight. The owl watched all of this without a single movement. Its eyes, polished and unblinking, reflected every tremor of life below. Yet nothing in its posture suggested urgency. It simply observed the forest as though it were listening to a story unfolding in many layers, a story only patience could translate. Below the thick canopy, the creatures of the forest sensed something else in the air, something heavier than nightfall. The deer moved cautiously, their hooves pressing softly into the earth. The foxes slunk between shrub shadows with their ears pinned high. Even the smallest insects paused in their habitual paths, antennae tasting the shift that had crept in. Something unfamiliar had entered the forest, though no one could yet say if it was a presence, a scent, a vibration, or simply a feeling that had grown roots in their minds as the day faded. The owl knew this sensation well. It understood the curious edge of nights like this, when the forest seemed to breathe differently, waiting for something unseen. But the owl did not panic. Panic never served the ones who needed clarity. It had hunted through storms, perched through blizzards, survived shadows that never revealed their source. What kept it alive was not speed. It was listening. Listening so deeply that even the silence spoke. A faint rustle emerged from the underbrush below. It was not hurried like a mouse. Not heavy like a boar. Not sly like a fox. It moved with an uncertain rhythm, pausing too long, then shifting too suddenly, as though whatever made the sound was unfamiliar with its own weight. The owl tilted its head just slightly, not enough to be noticed, but enough to alter the angle of the world in its vision. It did not leap. It did not glide down with talons primed. It only listened. More sounds followed. A soft scrape against bark. A breath of air that carried a metallic trace. A dull thud, like a foot unfamiliar with the softness of the forest floor. The owl's eyes narrowed, absorbing these sounds one by one, placing each into an invisible pattern. Nothing was ever random in the forest. Everything left clues. But the owl had learned long ago that clues were only understood by those willing to wait, not rush. As the last colors disappeared from the sky, the forest accepted its darkness. The owl's world shifted from light to sound. The trees became silhouettes, the ground, a woven pattern of movement and stillness. The rustling below turned into a steady, deliberate motion. Something was making its way toward the heart of the forest, moving without concern of who might be watching. The owl's feathers rose slightly, a sensation like a ripple beneath the skin. It was not fear. It was recognition of disturbance, of imbalance creeping toward the familiar paths. The forest thrived on rhythms, and anything that broke them needed to be understood before confronted. So, the owl remained rooted to its branch, listening. Across the clearing, a pair of rabbits sat frozen. Their ears twitched in different directions, trying to pinpoint the source of the unnatural cadence. Nearby, an old badger pulled back into its den, its instincts cautioning it against curiosity. High in the pines, a family of small birds huddled close, aware that song would be a foolish luxury tonight. The owl watched every reaction. Fear tended to spread faster than truth. If the forest had decided to fear something, the owl needed to know whether the fear was justified or imagined. A gust of wind pressed through the treetops, bending the branches with a sigh. As the wind passed, a soft scent reached the owl, faint, sharp, and foreign. It did not resemble prey. It did not resemble predator. It resembled intrusion. The owl leaned forward just slightly, not in preparation to strike, but in an instinctive attempt to deepen its perception. It inhaled the scent again, cataloging its undertones. The moving presence below the branch shifted direction. Its steps grew slower, more deliberate. It paused beneath the owl's tree, creating a silence so sudden that even the leaves seemed to hesitate. For a moment, the owl sensed a strange pulse, a tremor in the earth, too light for the other animals to feel, but strong enough to echo inside the owl's hollow bones. It was as if whatever stood below carried a story written in vibrations rather than sound. Yet the owl remained silent. Listening always revealed more than reacting. The creature continued its slow journey, heading deeper into the woods. The owl launched itself from the branch without stirring a single leaf. Its wings moved in complete silence, a ghost drifting above the world. But it did not follow closely. It kept a cautious distance, gliding from shadow to shadow. It wanted proximity, not confrontation. Below, the forest divided around the intruder, unsure whether to flee or merely observe. The owl's flight passed over pools of moonlight that glistened between the trees like scattered fragments of broken glass. The forest grew taller, darker, narrower, shaping a path that only the owl could navigate without sound. The unfamiliar steps continued forward until they reached the oldest part of the forest, a place where the trees held memories older than storms. Here, the owl landed again, perching on a branch that hung low and heavy. Its eyes adjusted to the deeper darkness. The intruder stood ahead, a silhouette against the thin stripe of moonlight filtering through the canopy. Its movements were strange, hesitant, uneven, almost searching. It turned in a slow circle, as though trying to interpret sounds it did not understand. The owl watched the creature raise its head, breathe in the air, and tremble at something unseen. The owl knew then that whatever this being was, it did not belong here. Not because it was dangerous, not because it carried malice, but because it carried confusion. And confusion in the forest was just as dangerous as hunger. The creature stumbled backward, knocking against a fallen log. The sound thundered across the clearing, startling birds from their hidden nests. The moonlight flickered through their frantic wings. The forest trembled with the echo, sending ripples through the leaves. The owl did not move. It remained a silent sentinel, absorbing the chaos to understand its shape. The creature crouched down, its limbs wrapped tightly around its body. A soft whimper escaped it, so faint that only the owl heard it. It was a sound of uncertainty, of something lost, something searching, something afraid of its own shadow. The owl tilted its head once more, not with curiosity, but with understanding. It had seen animals who wandered in fear, who entered the forest seeking refuge or escape. But this one did not seem to know what it sought. Its body was tense, but its movements lacked intention. It reacted to noise that did not exist, recoiled from shapes that were not there. The owl realized that the most dangerous part of this intruder was not its presence, but its inability to distinguish reality from fear. The forest could survive predators. It could survive storms. It could even survive scarcity. But unpredictability, fear acting without direction, could break the delicate balance that kept life moving in harmony. The owl shifted its wings and prepared to descend. Not to attack, not to warn, but to observe from a closer vantage. It glided silently down, resting on a branch only a few feet above the trembling intruder. The creature did not look up. It remained lost in its own spiraling thoughts. Then something happened. A sound echoed through the trees, soft at first, then growing. A howl. Long, deep. Familiar. Predatory. But the owl reacted differently than the intruder. The owl recognized the cadence. It knew the pattern. It knew the direction, the distance, the intent. The howl spoke of territory, not aggression. Of warning, not attack. The owl had heard this wolf for years. It was not hunting. It was communicating. But the creature below did not understand the language of the forest. It shrieked and stumbled backward, colliding with a sharp branch. Panic surged through its limbs. It bolted through the clearing blindly, moving so fast that it left a trail of broken foliage behind. The owl watched it disappear into the darkness. It could already hear the chain reaction, other animals fleeing, confusion spreading, the forest's balance quivering. The owl launched into flight again, following the chaotic path from above. Branches trembled beneath the creature's frantic movement. Streams divided as it splashed through them without grace. The forest turned into a maze of fear, carved by its uncontrolled sprint. When the creature finally tripped and collapsed near the edge of a ravine, the owl landed on a nearby branch. Its wings folded quietly. It watched the creature gasp for air, scanning the forest with wild eyes that saw dangers the owl knew were not there. And then it happened. The creature looked up. Its eyes met the owl's. For a moment, the forest stilled. The owl felt a weight in that stare, not of malice, but of desperation. The creature seemed to cling to the eye contact, as if seeking something stable in a world that had turned into a swarm of illusions. The owl did not blink. In its unmoving gaze, it offered the only thing it truly commanded: silence. Gradually, the creature's breathing slowed. Its trembling eased. The forest remained quiet, but no longer hostile. The owl's presence, steady and unshifting, seemed to draw the creature back from the edge of fear. The owl listened. Listened to its breaths. Listened to the forest calming. Listened to its own instincts pointing toward a truth older than the branches above. Sometimes the greatest danger was not the predator in the dark, but the noise inside one's own thoughts. Only when silence settled fully around them did the owl shift its wings again. Not to leave, but to guide. With a quiet, slow beat of its wings, it rose and flew toward a calmer part of the forest. The creature hesitated, then followed the soundless path, pacing itself to the owl's measured movements. The owl guided it through shadows and streams, through the soft, forgiving floor of moss and the gentle rise of safer ground. When they reached the edge of the forest, where the moon shone unobstructed, the creature paused. It looked at the owl again, its eyes calmer now, reflecting clarity instead of panic. The owl remained silent. There was nothing to say. Silence had already delivered what words could not. The creature turned and disappeared into the moonlit distance. The owl remained on its branch, watching until it was gone. Then it closed its eyes, allowing the night to settle around it once more. The forest exhaled in relief. Order had returned, balance restored. But deep in the darkness, far beyond the comfort of moonlight, something stirred, something the owl had not yet heard, something that had no scent, no weight, no sound. For the first time that night, the owl felt a chill. Something else was coming. And this time, silence might not be enough.